Behind the perfectly polished royal portraits and carefully orchestrated public appearances lies a world few have ever witnessed. What happens when the palace gates close and the cameras stop rolling? How does a future king balance the weight of centuries-old traditions with the demands of modern life? And what secrets have been hidden behind the gilded walls of royal residences? For the first time, exclusive interviews with palace insiders, longtime friends, and never-before-seen private correspondents reveal the remarkable truth about William and Catherine's journey, from university sweethearts to the most watched couple in the world. This isn't just another royal biography filled with recycled tabloid stories. This is the authentic story of two people who never imagined their love story would reshape the very future of the British monarchy. From heated arguments behind closed doors, to tender moments with their children that will never make the evening news. From the crushing pressure of public scrutiny to the private jokes that keep their marriage strong. Prepare to discover the real William and Catherine. Their story will surprise you, move you, and change everything you thought you knew about modern royalty. The fairy tale you think you know is only the beginning. The morning mist hung low over the Scottish Highlands as 20-year-old Catherine Middleton stepped out of her small dormitory room at the University of St. Andrews. She had no idea that this ordinary Tuesday in September 2002 would mark the beginning of a love story that would captivate the world and forever change the British monarchy. Down the hall, Prince William was struggling with the same dilemma that faced every university student: what to wear to impress someone special. William had noticed Catherine months earlier during their art history lectures. But it wasn't until she appeared on the runway during a university charity fashion show that he truly saw her. Wearing a striking black dress that later became legendary, Catherine walked with a confidence that made the second in line to the throne forget about protocol entirely. His friend later recalled how William's jaw dropped and he whispered something about needing to get to know her better. What most people never knew was that their first real conversation happened not at some glamorous event, but in the university library. Catherine was researching a paper on Renaissance art when William approached her table, pretending to need help finding a book. She saw right through his excuse, but found his nervous stumbling endearing rather than off-putting. They talked for hours about everything except his royal status, and for the first time in years, William felt like just another student.
Their early relationship was nothing like the fairy tale the media would later portray.
They were broke university students who split the cost of cheap pizza and spent evenings watching movies in William's modest student accommodation. Catherine learned to navigate the unique challenges of dating someone who couldn't walk to the corner store without potentially ending up on the front page of newspapers. She watched him struggle with the constant awareness that every friendship, every relationship, every moment of fun had to be filtered through the lens of his future role as king. The real test of their relationship came during their first major argument, 6 months after they started dating. William had been photographed at a party with another student, and the tabloids had a field day speculating about trouble in paradise. Catherine confronted him not about the photographs, but about something deeper: his tendency to retreat into his royal shell whenever things got complicated. She told him that if he wanted a real relationship, he had to trust her enough to be vulnerable, royal or not. That conversation changed everything between them. William realized he had found someone who wasn't intimidated by his title or impressed by his status. Catherine wanted to know him, not the prince. She pushed him to be authentic in ways no one ever had, and he began to see how a life with her might allow him to balance duty with genuine happiness. Their friends from university later revealed the small details that showed how their relationship deepened. Catherine would leave little notes in William's textbooks when she borrowed them. William learned to cook her favorite meal, though he nearly set off the smoke alarm every time he attempted it. They developed inside jokes and shared looks that spoke volumes during formal events they attended together as their relationship became more serious. The first time Catherine visited Balmoral Castle, the Queen's private Scottish estate, she was terrified. The massive stone structure and formal protocols seemed worlds away from her middle-class upbringing in Berkshire. But Queen Elizabeth took an immediate liking to the young woman who treated her grandson like any other boyfriend, even when surrounded by centuries of royal history. Catherine helped with dinner preparations and joined in family games without trying to impress anyone or change her personality to fit royal expectations. Prince Charles initially had reservations, not about Catherine personally, but about the intense media scrutiny any serious relationship would bring to his son's life. He had lived through the devastating effects of public pressure on royal marriages and worried about putting another young woman through that ordeal. However, he was won over by Catherine's genuine warmth and her obvious positive influence on William's happiness and confidence. The relationship faced its first major crisis when William graduated and began his military training. The physical separation was challenging, but even more difficult was Catherine's introduction to the reality of being connected to the royal family. Photographers followed her to work, analyzed her every outfit choice, and speculated about wedding plans when the couple had barely discussed their future together. Catherine handled the pressure with remarkable grace, but privately she struggled with the loss of anonymity and normal life. She confided in her parents about feeling like she was living in a fishbowl, never knowing when a private moment might become public property. Her mother, Carol Middleton, provided crucial support during this period, helping Catherine maintain her sense of self while adapting to circumstances no parenting book could have prepared them for. William watched the woman he loved deal with pressures he had been born into, and it gave him a new perspective on what royal life meant for those who chose to enter it. He began to understand that loving him meant Catherine was sacrificing a normal existence, and he wrestled with whether that was fair to ask of someone. This internal conflict would influence many of their decisions in the years that followed. Their relationship deepened through shared challenges and mutual support. When Catherine's family business faced financial difficulties that were gleefully reported in the press, William stood by her despite royal advisors suggesting he might want to distance himself from any controversy. When William struggled with the weight of his destiny and the loss of his mother's guidance, Catherine provided steady emotional support without trying to fix everything or offer platitudes. The turning point in their relationship came during a quiet weekend at a friend's cottage in the countryside. Away from royal protocols and media attention, they talked honestly about their future together. Catherine told William that she loved him enough to share his unique life, but only if he truly wanted her as his partner in facing whatever came next. William realized he couldn't imagine his future without her strength, intelligence, and unwavering support. By the time they graduated from St. Andrews, their relationship had evolved from university romance to something much deeper and more tested. They had navigated media storms, family dynamics, and the fundamental question of whether love could survive the unique pressures of royal life. Catherine had proven she could maintain her identity and values while adapting to extraordinary circumstances. William had learned to be vulnerable and authentic in ways his royal upbringing had never encouraged. Their friends later said that even during university, there was something different about William and Catherine together. They brought out the best in each other, and their relationship seemed to have a foundation of genuine friendship and mutual respect that went beyond romantic attraction. Catherine never seemed starstruck by William's status, and William never took Catherine's devotion for granted. As graduation approached, both William and Catherine knew they were facing a crossroads. The protected environment of university was ending, and they would have to decide whether their relationship could survive in the harsh glare of public life. The easy days of being just another couple among friends were over. Whatever happened next would determine not just their personal future, but potentially the future character of the British monarchy itself. The champagne bottle sat unopened on Catherine Middleton's kitchen counter as she stared at the newspaper headline that would change everything. William's new girl, is she the one? The photograph showed her leaving her London apartment, coffee in hand, completely unaware that her private life had just become public property. It was March 2007, and the fairy tale was about to become a nightmare. Catherine had been prepared for media attention, but nothing could have readied her for the relentless pursuit that followed. Photographers camped outside her family home, followed her to work, and analyzed every detail of her appearance for clues about her relationship with the future king. She couldn't buy groceries, meet friends for lunch, or even walk her family dog without ending up in newspapers around the world. The pressure took an immediate toll on her family. Her parents, Michael and Carol Middleton, found their successful party supply business scrutinized in ways that felt deeply invasive. Journalists investigated their backgrounds, questioned their social climbing motivations, and turned their middle-class success story into fodder for class-based criticism. Catherine watched her parents handle the spotlight with dignity while privately worrying about the impact on their livelihood and reputation. William was completing his military training at Sandhurst Royal Military Academy, physically present but emotionally distant as he focused on the demanding program. Catherine found herself navigating royal-related media storms without his day-to-day support. She had to learn the unwritten rules of royal protocol while being constantly photographed and judged. Every outfit choice became a statement. Every public appearance was analyzed for signs of confidence or nervousness. The breaking point came during a particularly difficult week when photographers followed Catherine to a children's charity event where she was volunteering. The intrusion disrupted the event and upset the children, making Catherine realize that her association with William was affecting her ability to contribute positively to causes she cared about. She called William that evening in tears, questioning whether their relationship was worth the cost to everyone around them. William rushed to London the next weekend, and they had what friends later described as the most serious conversation of their relationship. Catherine told him she felt like she was losing herself, becoming nothing more than William's girlfriend in every headline and conversation. She loved him, but she needed to know that their future together included space for her own identity and contributions, not just her role as his supportive partner. That conversation led to their first temporary breakup in April 2007. The decision was mutual, but devastating for both of them. They agreed they needed time to figure out whether they could build a life together that honored both William's royal destiny and Catherine's need for personal fulfillment. The media portrayed it as William getting cold feet about commitment, but the reality was more complex and mature. During their time apart, both William and Catherine gained perspective that ultimately strengthened their relationship. William completed his military training and began to understand how much Catherine's steady support had meant during the most challenging period of his life. He missed her intelligence, humor, and ability to keep him grounded when royal duties threatened to overwhelm his sense of self. Catherine used the separation to reconnect with her own goals and interests. She threw herself into photography, a passion she had set aside during the intensity of her relationship with William. She also began working for her family's business, discovering talents in marketing and event planning that gave her confidence and purpose beyond her romantic relationship. The time apart helped her realize she was stronger than the media pressure had made her feel. Their friends organized a reunion of sorts at a party in London, where William and Catherine found themselves talking until dawn about everything they had learnt during their separation. The conversation was different from their university discussions, more mature, more honest about the challenges they would face, and more realistic about what they could expect from each other. William told Catherine about his fears regarding his mother's experience with media pressure and public scrutiny. Princess Diana's struggles with the press had profoundly affected him, and he was terrified of putting someone he loved through similar ordeals. Catherine listened but reminded him that she was not his mother, and their relationship existed in a different time with different circumstances. She had proven she could handle pressure. What she needed was his trust in her strength. Catherine shared her own evolution during their time apart. She had realized that being with William didn't mean disappearing into his shadow, but it did mean accepting that their life together would be unlike anything most couples experienced. She was willing to make that choice, but only if William was committed to building a partnership where both of their strengths and goals were valued. Their reunion marked the beginning of a more mature phase in their relationship. William began including Catherine in conversations about his future role and asking for her perspectives on royal duties and public service. Catherine started accompanying William to more official events, learning firsthand about the demands and rewards of royal life. The media initially portrayed their reconciliation as a simple romantic reunion, but people close to the couple noticed significant changes in how they interacted. William seemed more confident and decisive about their future together. Catherine appeared more comfortable with public attention and more skilled at navigating royal protocols without losing her natural warmth. Prince Harry played an unexpected role in helping his brother and Catherine navigate this period. Having watched William struggle with the loneliness of his position, Harry became one of Catherine's strongest supporters within the royal family. He appreciated how she made William happier and more relaxed, and he helped bridge the gap between Catherine and royal traditions during family gatherings. The Queen's acceptance of Catherine became more apparent during this period as well. Queen Elizabeth invited Catherine to private family events and began including her in conversations about royal duties and expectations. The monarch recognized that Catherine's influence on William was overwhelmingly positive, and that her common sense and emotional intelligence would serve the monarchy well. Catherine's relationship with Prince Charles also deepened during this time. Initially cautious about his son's choice, Charles came to appreciate Catherine's genuine interest in his environmental and charitable causes. Their shared conversations about art, history, and social issues revealed Catherine's intelligence and thoughtfulness in ways that impressed the future king. The real test of their renewed relationship came when William was deployed to the Falkland Islands as a search and rescue pilot in 2012. The separation was challenging, but both William and Catherine had learned to communicate more effectively about their needs and concerns. Catherine used the time to develop her own charitable interests and public role, while William gained confidence in her ability to handle royal duties independently. During William's deployment, Catherine represented the royal family at several official events. Her natural ability to connect with people from all backgrounds became increasingly apparent, and she began to develop her own following among the British public. The media coverage shifted from focusing solely on her relationship with William to recognizing her individual contributions and potential. The experience of weathering media storms, family pressures, and public scrutiny together taught William and Catherine invaluable lessons about partnership under extraordinary circumstances. They learned to protect their private relationship while fulfilling public expectations, to support each other through challenges that most couples never face, and to maintain their individual identities within their shared destiny. By the end of this testing period, William and Catherine had evolved from university sweethearts to mature partners ready to take on the unique challenges and opportunities of royal life together. They had proven to themselves, their families, and the public that their love could survive the pressures that had destroyed other royal relationships. More importantly, they had discovered that their partnership made them both stronger and more effective in their individual roles. The foundation they built during these challenging years would prove essential as they moved toward engagement and marriage. They had learned to navigate media attention, family dynamics, and public expectations while maintaining their connection to each other and their commitment to service. The testing period had refined their relationship into something strong enough to withstand whatever the future might bring. The morning of April 29, 2011 dawned grey and cloudy over London. But inside Clarence's house, Prince William was already awake, staring out the window at the thousands of people lining the streets below. In just a few hours, he would marry Catherine Middleton in front of 2 billion viewers worldwide. But at that moment, he was simply a nervous groom, hoping his bride would say yes at the altar. 8 months earlier, William had carried his mother's sapphire engagement ring in his backpack during a romantic getaway to Kenya. He had planned to propose during a sunset moment overlooking the savannah, but nerves got the better of him, and he carried the ring for 3 weeks before finally finding the courage to ask Catherine to marry him. When he finally proposed in the cozy cabin where they were staying, Catherine later admitted she was so shocked she almost forgot to say yes. The engagement announcement in November 2010 had sent the world into a frenzy of wedding speculation. But behind the scenes, William and Catherine were determined to create a celebration that reflected their values and personalities, rather than simply following royal traditions. They wanted their wedding to be a joyful occasion that brought people together, not an intimidating display of wealth and privilege. Catherine's approach to wedding planning revealed much about her character and her vision for her future role. She insisted on including flowers from the gardens where she had played as a child, wanted local businesses to provide services when possible, and made sure that charities close to their hearts would benefit from the wedding's global attention. She spent hours reviewing guest lists, not just to include dignitaries and royals, but to ensure that people who had been important in their relationship journey would be part of their special day. The dress selection process became an international obsession, but Catherine kept her choice so secret that even her mother didn't see the final design until the morning of the wedding. Working with Sarah Burton at Alexander McQueen, Catherine created a gown that balanced royal grandeur with personal style. The dress featured intricate lace appliques that told the story of her heritage, incorporating roses for England, thistles for Scotland, daffodils for Wales, and shamrocks for Northern Ireland. William's biggest concern wasn't the ceremony itself, but whether he could protect Catherine from being overwhelmed by the magnitude of the event. He had grown up attending state occasions and understood the protocols. But Catherine was stepping into this world for the first time as the center of attention. He worked with palace staff to ensure she felt supported and prepared, even arranging for practice runs at Westminster Abbey, so she could walk the aisle without nervousness about logistics. The night before the wedding, Catherine stayed at the Goring Hotel with her family, while William spent his final bachelor evening with Harry and close friends. Both separately called each other around midnight, not to discuss wedding details, but simply to say they loved each other and couldn't wait to be married. Friends later said those phone calls revealed the genuine emotional foundation beneath all the royal pageantry. On the morning of the wedding, Catherine woke early and spent quiet time with her parents and sister Pippa, who would serve as maid of honor. The calm before the storm was precious to her, knowing that after today, private family moments would be increasingly rare. Her father, Michael Middleton, was nervous about walking his daughter down the aisle of Westminster Abbey in front of the world, but Catherine's confidence reassured him. The carriage ride from the hotel to Westminster Abbey became Catherine's first experience of the overwhelming public affection she would receive as a royal. The crowds were massive and enthusiastic, calling out congratulations and throwing flower petals. Catherine later said she was amazed by the genuine warmth and joy of the people lining the streets, many of whom had camped out for days just to catch a glimpse of the royal couple. Inside Westminster Abbey, 1,900 guests waited as the ceremony began. The guest list itself told the story of William and Catherine's approach to royal life, including everyone from heads of state to their university friends, from charity leaders to pub landlords from their favorite local spots. Catherine had insisted that their wedding reflect the full range of people who mattered to them, not just official dignitaries. When the doors of Westminster Abbey opened and Catherine appeared on her father's arm, the collective intake of breath was audible. The dress was everything the world had hoped for and more. But what struck people most was Catherine's radiant confidence. She wasn't a nervous bride being overwhelmed by royal protocol. She was a woman stepping confidently into her future role. William's reaction when he first saw Catherine walking down the aisle became one of the most memorable moments of the ceremony. His face lit up with pure joy, and he whispered, "You look beautiful," when she reached the altar. That spontaneous moment of genuine emotion reminded everyone watching that beneath all the royal grandeur was a love story between two people who had chosen each other. The ceremony itself balanced ancient traditions with personal touches. Catherine and William had worked with the Archbishop of Canterbury to include readings and music that reflected their faith and values. They chose hymns that congregations could sing heartily, wanting their guests to participate rather than simply observe. The prayers included references to service and commitment that hinted at their understanding of marriage as a partnership for serving others. Prince Harry's role as best man provided some of the ceremony's lighter moments. His genuine affection for both his brother and Catherine was evident, and his whispered joke to William during the hymns helped relax any lingering tension. Catherine had insisted that Harry be included in all wedding planning, recognizing how important his support would be for their future family dynamic. The moment when Catherine became the Duchess of Cambridge was marked by more than just titles and protocol. Queen Elizabeth's decision to make William the Duke of Cambridge on his wedding morning was a deliberate signal about the modern direction of the monarchy. The titles were chosen to reflect the couple's connection to both tradition and their future role in modernizing royal service. The balcony appearance at Buckingham Palace after the ceremony became iconic, when William and Catherine kissed twice, to the delight of the massive crowd below. The second kiss was spontaneous, prompted by the crowd's enthusiastic response to the first. That moment of playfulness and responsiveness to public joy set the tone for their approach to royal duties. Formal when appropriate, but never losing touch with genuine human connection. The reception at Buckingham Palace revealed more personal aspects of the couple's relationship. William's speech praised Catherine's parents for raising such an extraordinary daughter, while also acknowledging the challenges of marrying into the royal family. Catherine's quiet confidence throughout the reception impressed family members and guests, many of whom commented on her natural ability to make everyone feel welcome and included. Prince Philip's toast at the reception reportedly praised Catherine for bringing joy back into William's life and for her positive influence on the entire family. The Duke of Edinburgh, known for his direct communication style, had observed Catherine carefully during her years of dating William and approved of her authenticity and dedication to the relationship. The evening reception for close friends and family showcased the couple's personality more clearly. They had chosen a relaxed atmosphere, with dancing and personal touches that reflected their interests and humor. Catherine changed into a second dress for the party, and William surprised guests by performing a song with Harry, revealing the playful side of their relationship that the public rarely saw. The wedding's impact extended far beyond the single-day celebration. It marked Catherine's official transition from commoner to royal, but more significantly, it represented a new chapter in the monarchy's relationship with the British people. The wedding's balance of tradition and accessibility, grandeur and warmth, suggested a future royal family that could honor its heritage while remaining relevant to modern life. International coverage of the wedding introduced Catherine to a global audience and established her as a figure of international interest in her own right. The fashion choices, charitable connections, and personal style she displayed during the wedding events created immediate worldwide fascination that would influence her future role as a royal ambassador. Most importantly, the wedding day proved that Catherine was ready for the unique challenges of royal life. Her grace under enormous pressure, ability to balance protocol with personality, and genuine warmth in connecting with people from all backgrounds demonstrated qualities that would serve her well in the decades of service ahead. The girl who had met Prince William at university had become a woman ready to help shape the future of the British monarchy. The nursery at Kensington Palace was painted in soft yellows and greens, deliberately gender-neutral, because William and Catherine had chosen not to learn whether their first child would be a boy or girl. It was July 2013, and Catherine was in the final weeks of her pregnancy, determined to approach royal motherhood differently than any generation before her. She had spent months researching everything from natural birthing techniques to child psychology, preparing not just to welcome a baby, but to raise a future monarch in a way that balanced royal duty with emotional health. The decision to give birth at St. Mary's Hospital, the same location where Princess Diana had welcomed William and Harry, was deeply symbolic but also practical. Catherine wanted the security of a hospital with experience handling royal births, but she also insisted on having as normal a birthing experience as possible. She had watched friends struggle with the pressures of new motherhood and was determined to trust her instincts while adapting to the unique circumstances of raising children in the public eye. When Prince George Alexander Louis was born on July 22, 2013, William was present for the delivery, breaking with royal tradition that had previously kept fathers out of the delivery room. Catherine had insisted that William be her primary support during labor, and he later described the experience as the most meaningful moment of his life. The first photographs of them leaving the hospital showed a couple glowing with new parent joy, but also slightly overwhelmed by the magnitude of introducing their son to the world. Catherine's approach to early motherhood revealed her commitment to hands-on parenting despite having access to unlimited help. She chose to do most night feedings herself, wanted to be present for all of George's major milestones, and insisted on maintaining routines that felt as normal as possible within palace walls. William supported these decisions completely, having grown up wishing for more ordinary family experiences in his own childhood. The challenges of raising children under constant public scrutiny became immediately apparent. Catherine couldn't take George to a regular park without creating media chaos, couldn't attend baby classes without photographers following, and had to carefully consider the implications of every parenting choice that might be observed and analyzed. She worked with palace security to create private spaces where George could play and explore without awareness of his unique circumstances. When Princess Charlotte Elizabeth Diana was born on May 2, 2015, Catherine was more confident in her role as royal mother, but faced new challenges in balancing attention between her children. She was determined that George not feel displaced by his sister's arrival and worked to create special traditions and one-on-one time with her firstborn. William marveled at Catherine's intuitive understanding of each child's needs and her ability to make royal life feel like family life. The decision to include Diana in Charlotte's name was Catherine's suggestion, wanting to honor William's mother while also giving their daughter a connection to the grandmother she would never meet. Catherine had studied Princess Diana's approach to motherhood and admired her determination to give William and Harry normal childhood experiences despite their royal status. She hoped to carry forward Diana's legacy of warm, engaged parenting. Catherine's parenting philosophy became evident through small details that palace staff noticed. She insisted on doing school drop-offs and pick-ups when possible, wanted to attend school plays and sporting events like any other parent, and created family traditions that had nothing to do with royal protocol. She and William established family movie nights, weekend camping trips in the palace gardens, and holiday traditions that felt authentically their own. The birth of Prince Louis Arthur Charles on April 23, 2018, completed their family and tested Catherine's ability to balance 3 young children with increasing royal duties. She had learned to be more protective of family time and more strategic about which royal engagements she accepted, especially during the children's early years. William supported these priorities, understanding that their children's emotional security was more important than fulfilling every royal obligation. Catherine's influence on William's parenting style was transformative. He had grown up with more formal relationships with his parents, and Catherine encouraged him to be more physically affectionate, emotionally expressive, and playful with their children. Friends noticed how William seemed more relaxed and joyful when talking about family life, crediting Catherine's influence for helping him heal from some of the emotional gaps in his own childhood. The family's move to Adelaide Cottage in Windsor in 2022 reflected Catherine's desire to give their children a more normal upbringing. The 4-bedroom house, while still on royal property, was significantly smaller and more informal than their Kensington Palace apartment. Catherine wanted the children to walk to school, ride bikes around the neighbourhood, and have friends over without the logistics that palace living required. Catherine's approach to royal duties evolved to accommodate her priorities as a mother. She focused on causes related to children's mental health, early childhood development, and family support services, allowing her royal work to complement rather than compete with her parenting responsibilities. Her patronages became vehicles for learning about child development that she could apply to her own family, while also serving the broader community. The decision to send George, Charlotte, and Louis to Lambrook School represented Catherine's commitment to balancing royal tradition with modern parenting. She and William visited numerous schools, interviewed teachers, and observed classrooms before choosing a co-educational independent school that emphasized kindness, service, and academic excellence without the intense pressure of some elite institutions. Catherine's relationship with her own parents became even more important as she navigated royal motherhood. Carol and Michael Middleton provided stability and normalcy for their grandchildren, offering a retreat from royal life where George, Charlotte, and Louis could simply be children without titles or expectations. Catherine worked to ensure her children had strong relationships with both sets of grandparents, understanding the importance of diverse influences in their development. The family's approach to holidays and downtime reflected Catherine's determination to prioritize family bonding. They established traditions of summer holidays where technology was limited, everyone participated in outdoor activities, and royal duties were set aside for pure family time. These experiences gave William and Catherine opportunities to observe their children's natural personalities and interests without the influence of royal protocol. Catherine's influence on the children's education extended beyond academics to include emotional intelligence, empathy, and understanding of their privileged position. She wanted them to understand their future roles while also developing genuine concern for others and appreciation for the opportunities their position provided to make positive differences in the world. The family's public appearances were carefully managed to balance public interest with the children's privacy and emotional well-being. Catherine insisted on limiting public engagements that included the children, and worked with palace communications staff to establish boundaries around photographing and reporting on family activities. She understood that some public interest was inevitable, but she was determined to control it as much as possible. William and Catherine's partnership in parenting became a model for modern royal families. They shared responsibilities more equally than previous generations, with William taking active roles in school activities and Catherine participating in traditionally male-oriented activities with the children. Their approach demonstrated that royal duty could coexist with engaged contemporary parenting. The challenges of raising children who would one day serve the monarchy while also ensuring their emotional health and happiness required constant navigation. Catherine researched child psychology, consulted with experts, and observed other families to understand best practices for raising confident, compassionate children under extraordinary circumstances. Catherine's transformation from university student to mother of future royals was marked by her ability to maintain her core values while adapting to unprecedented circumstances. She never lost sight of her goal to raise children who were both prepared for their royal destinies and equipped with the emotional tools to find happiness and purpose in lives unlike those of other children. The family dynamics Catherine created at home became the foundation for how George, Charlotte, and Louis would understand their roles in the monarchy. By emphasizing service, kindness, and genuine connection with others, she was preparing them not just to fulfill royal duties, but to find meaning and joy in the unique opportunities their positions would provide to make positive impacts on the world. The success of Catherine's approach to royal motherhood was evident in her children's natural confidence and warmth during public appearances. George, Charlotte, and Louis displayed the kind of genuine happiness and security that suggested they were thriving despite the unique circumstances of their childhood, a testament to Catherine's dedication to putting their well-being first while preparing them for their future roles. The phone call that would change everything came at 3:30 in the morning on September 8, 2022. Catherine woke to find William already answering, his face growing grave as he listened to the news that Queen Elizabeth II was declining rapidly. By dawn, they were driving to Balmoral Castle with their children, not knowing if they would arrive in time to say goodbye to the monarch, who had been the cornerstone of British life for 7 decades. Catherine had developed a special relationship with the Queen over the years, one built on mutual respect and genuine affection. The Queen had appreciated Catherine's dedication to royal duties, her natural ability to connect with people from all backgrounds, and her positive influence on William's confidence and happiness. In private moments, the Queen had expressed her satisfaction that the monarchy's future was in capable hands, with William and Catherine as the next generation of leaders. The Queen's death thrust William and Catherine into their new roles as Prince and Princess of Wales, far sooner than anyone had anticipated. Catherine had expected years more preparation before taking on the mantle that had belonged to Princess Diana, but she found herself needing to define what being Princess of Wales meant in the 21st century, while grieving the loss of a woman who had become both mentor and grandmother figure to her children. The period following the Queen's death revealed Catherine's growth into a figure of stability and strength during times of national transition. Her composure during the funeral proceedings, her support of William during his grief, and her ability to comfort her children while managing her own emotions demonstrated the emotional intelligence and resilience that had always been her strengths, but were now essential qualities for her elevated role. Catherine's approach to being Princess of Wales differed significantly from Princess Diana's, reflecting both her different personality and the changed circumstances of the monarchy. While Diana had used her position to challenge royal traditions and draw attention to overlooked causes, Catherine focused on building bridges, supporting established institutions, while gradually modernizing their approaches, and using her platform to create lasting change through collaboration rather than controversy. The early childhood development work that Catherine had begun as Duchess of Cambridge became the cornerstone of her identity as Princess of Wales. Her Royal Foundation Centre for Early Childhood represented years of research and consultation with experts, creating evidence-based programs to support children's mental health and development. This work allowed her to combine her personal passion as a mother with her professional capabilities as a royal leader. William's inheritance of the Prince of Wales title brought with it enormous responsibilities, including the Duchy of Cornwall, environmental initiatives, and the complex task of preparing for eventual kingship. Catherine became his crucial partner in managing these responsibilities while also developing her own areas of expertise and influence. Their partnership evolved into a sophisticated operation that balanced tradition with innovation. The challenges facing the monarchy during William and Catherine's rise to prominence required careful navigation. Public opinion about the royal family was more divided than during the Queen's reign, with younger generations questioning the relevance and cost of royal institutions. Catherine's natural ability to connect with people across age groups became essential in maintaining the monarchy's connection with contemporary British society. Catherine's influence on the monarchy's modernization became evident in numerous ways. She championed increased transparency in royal finances, supported greater diversity in palace staffing, and advocated for more accessible public engagements that allowed ordinary people to interact meaningfully with royals. Her changes were subtle but significant, representing evolution rather than revolution in royal practices. The global profile that Catherine developed during this period extended far beyond traditional royal duties. Her fashion choices influenced international style trends, her charitable work inspired similar initiatives worldwide, and her approach to balancing public service with family life made her a role model for working women everywhere. She had become what Diana had been in the 1980s, a royal whose influence transcended national boundaries. Catherine's relationship with the media evolved significantly as she gained experience and confidence. Rather than simply accepting traditional royal media management, she worked with communications staff to develop strategies that served both public interest and family privacy. She became more willing to share personal insights during engagements while maintaining clear boundaries around family life. The international diplomatic role that came with being Princess of Wales required Catherine to develop new skills and confidence. State visits, trade missions, and cultural exchanges became opportunities for her to represent British interests while building personal relationships with international leaders. Her natural warmth and intelligence made her an effective ambassador for British values and interests. Catherine's influence on William's preparation for kingship was profound and ongoing. She helped him develop more effective communication skills, encouraged his emotional openness during public engagements, and provided the personal stability that allowed him to take thoughtful risks in royal leadership. Their partnership became a model for how modern monarchs might balance personal happiness with public duty. The educational choices Catherine and William made for their children reflected their vision for the monarchy's future. George, Charlotte, and Louis were being prepared for lives of service while also being encouraged to develop their individual interests and talents. Catherine was determined that her children would be equipped with both the emotional intelligence and practical skills needed for 21st century royal life. Catherine's health challenges, including the cancer diagnosis she faced privately in 2024, tested her resilience and revealed her commitment to using personal struggles as opportunities for service. Her eventual openness about her health journey provided support and inspiration to others facing similar challenges, while demonstrating the human side of royal life that made the monarchy more relatable and relevant. The charitable work that Catherine developed as Princess of Wales represented a sophisticated understanding of how royal influence could create lasting change. Rather than simply lending her name to existing organizations, she invested time in understanding complex social issues and developing comprehensive approaches that addressed root causes rather than just symptoms. Catherine's legacy was already becoming apparent in the changed relationship between the royal family and the British people. Her authenticity, dedication, and ability to balance tradition with contemporary values had helped restore confidence in the monarchy's relevance and effectiveness. She had proven that it was possible to honor royal heritage while adapting to modern expectations and needs. The partnership between William and Catherine represented hope for the monarchy's future in ways that extended beyond their individual contributions. Together, they had demonstrated that royal marriage could be both personally fulfilling and professionally effective, that tradition and innovation could coexist, and that service to others could be the foundation for meaningful, joyful lives. Looking toward the future, Catherine's influence on the monarchy was expected to be lasting and transformative. Her children were growing up with different expectations and opportunities than previous royal generations. Her charitable work was creating institutional changes that would outlast her individual involvement. And her approach to royal life had established new standards for authenticity and effectiveness in public service. The woman who had once been a nervous university student meeting a prince had evolved into a confident leader whose influence extended far beyond her royal title. Catherine's journey from commoner to future queen had been marked by grace under pressure, dedication to growth, and unwavering commitment to using her unique position to make positive differences in the world. The future of the British monarchy under King William and Queen Catherine promised to honour the best traditions of royal service while embracing the changes necessary for continued relevance in contemporary society. Catherine's transformation from Kate Middleton to future queen had been remarkable, not just for its personal dimensions, but for its demonstration that ordinary people could rise to extraordinary circumstances and create lasting positive change through dedication, authenticity, and service to others.